Hey again. This will be the last one. Well, I shouldn't say that. Probably not going to be the last one for Saturday. But did want to bring you a completion video. Not sure if you watched the last two. They were kind of loud and whatever. Kind of just me spraying. Whatever. So everything is sprayed. It does have one good coat of epoxy on everything. Some areas have more. Some areas have less. Basically sprayed 2 quarts sprayable on everything. The only thing I'm really missing for the frame and suspension was actually the differential and the spindles and the steering component. So actually went quite a ways. So here's a look at everything. You can see where it's kind of shiny yet is actually wet yet. I just finished spraying the frame here. As you can see, like on the control arms, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is dry pretty much. A little tacky yet, but this will dry to a very nice semi-gloss, satinish type finish, which for me is perfect for chassis black. I don't like a shiny frame, but that is just my own opinion, my own preference. I just don't care for a glossy frame. I like it to be a little bit more satin finish. But everything turned out really nice. I'm really happy. Man, what a difference a coat of primer makes, guys. I mean, really happy with this stuff. I mean, it all looks really nice. Obviously, it doesn't look brand new because it is pitted. But, you know, this is the only thing you can do with a frame like this. I'm not going to sit here and fill and sand and no. This is going to be a driver. I am debating, however, if I am going to spray anything on top of this to attempt to hide the texture. There's a product that Rust-Oleum makes. It's called Hammer Finish. It would hide that, but do I want to go that route and spend $5 a can, potentially $30 to $40, and rattle can this frame? I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go that route. I might do it to the coil springs. I don't know, just for something different. But it's not necessary. But I don't know if you guys have ever used that hammer finish. I guess if you're real happy with it and you think that would be a benefit to do that, I would certainly entertain that thought. I guess what's $30 when you're doing something like this on a car, right? I don't know. I just, you know, in the back of my mind is always I'm not going original, but I want it to be something that can go to a pre-64 type show and not be scrutinized too badly. And a frame is not something I want to do again. So once this baby is done, I don't want to look at it again ever. So I think I'm answering my own question here as I'm talking to you guys about it. Another option was truck bed liner. A couple guys had chimed in on some previous videos about spraying it with some Raptor bed liner, which I am very familiar with, and it is an excellent product. My thoughts on that were, it's so damn messy, first of all, and how would I ever get everything coated without somehow suspending this frame? Hear how sticky the floor is yet? How would I do that without suspending the frame somehow to get it completely wrapped in the product? And then would I have to be concerned about bolt holes and, you know, control arm locations and stuff like that? I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go that route. I don't think the frame is that bad in the areas that I'm going to be patching, which is all going to be in the rear, basically from this mount back. I don't think I'm going to get real carried away. I might just spot in a couple areas with some rattle can undercoating or rattle can truck bed liner What I decided to do here is I'm actually going to start my patches from here, and I'm going to run that patch all the way down to this seam, the same width, and I'm just going to notch it out for here. And then if I'm able to, I might run the patch from inside here and run it up and kind of tag it in and wrap it together somehow. And then do the exact same thing on both sides, so it's not very conspicuous. If that's the right way to use that word, I'm not sure. Obviously I have some work to do on that control arm before I put the bushing in, but like I said, I want to get this stuff all primed before I had another disaster of rust. I think it turned out really nice. I know I'm going to have to take some of the paint off, like this kind of stuff more than likely before I put bushings on, which not a big deal. I didn't want to take the time to mask it. But everything turned out really nice. I'm excited to start putting things back together, and made major progress. Is so exciting. You guys know that I've been doing projects. Another thing I did, I've been talking about it, and I finally did it. I've started the list. This was inspired by the guys at Shut Your Face Garage. I apologize, I don't actually know all your names. I know Angel is obviously the gal. I don't know who she actually belongs to or what her gentleman's name is, but they built Rusty the Nova recently, and they used a list like this to kind of keep them on track. And what's really awesome is I just kind of started with what we've been doing recently here, and the fun part is you guys are actually going to be along for the ride to cross some things off. So I've got blast frame and parts, done. Epoxy frame and parts, done. Okay, next step, install motor mounts onto frame, bushings and control arms, etc. And this list will probably change and have stuff squeezed in between. I'll probably rewrite it with more spaces in it at some later date. But I'm thinking, looking at this list, my goal was to have this chassis done, rolling an engine transmission in it and ready for a body by spring. But you know what, realistically, this list right here will probably keep me busy all winter. I may not get the engine and transmission in the frame by spring, and if I don't, I don't. I'm gonna pace myself, and I don't want to get sick of this car, because I really think this car is gonna be really nice, really cool, really fun. So I don't want to burn myself out on it. Now I'm to a point where I can kind of breathe again and be like, okay, it's primed, it's not going to flash rust, it can sit. The only other concern that I have is that I need to get my four-wheeler in here and get it running correctly before snow comes, which is going to be sooner than later also. I have a carburetor issue, possibly a valve issue. I'll bring you along for that too, more than likely. But I need to make room for it in here. I can't even get it in here right now. So I need to get this frame at least moved over one way or the other so I can get the four-wheeler in here and get it torn apart, diagnosed, repaired, and back ready to push snow this winter. So I think I'm just going to do a couple of small little things yet here today. I'm going to take the exhaust manifolds off the engine here just because I want to. And go from there, I guess. I'm still on the lookout for a early small block aftermarket 4-barrel intake. I've decided I want to go with an aftermarket intake because I really don't think that, and I'm going to take this carburetor off and look at this intake, but I don't know, I'm looking at this intake here, guys, and I mean, is it just me, or them are really small holes? I mean, I don't even know if that quadrajet would fit on there. So I'm using that carburetor because that works, it runs. So I'm looking for an aftermarket, like a Torker or a Torker 2 intake with the oil-filled tube that will accept the quadrajet. I'm going to take the smog stuff off. I'm using the scripted valve covers. I'm going to put a short water pump on here. I don't know. But again, this isn't on the list. So this is not a high priority for me, but it's always in the back of my mind, like, okay, what do I need for that? Or here's a deal on this, should I grab it? I think that, I will when I can. I'm thinking, I got 2 color choices that I have in mind for this. It is going to, well, there's 3 actually. I'm going to go with Chevy Orange because 64 and older is the time frame I'm looking at. So scripted valve covers, whatever. Chevy Orange would be acceptable because 64 Chevy did have orange engines. Or I'm going to go with a metallic pearl orange, which is one of the colors that is in consideration for the outside of the vehicle. Either way, orange would be acceptable, whether it's just solid orange or metallic orange would be cool. Or, for some reason, I got this Oldsmobile gold color in my mind. And for some reason, I just think the Oldsmobile gold would go really good with the orange pearl and would just kind of pop under the hood and be something different. And I could still touch it up with a rattle can if need be as time goes by. Wouldn't have to custom mix anything or get real carried away. So I'm thinking one shade of gold. Basically it'd be gold and black. I don't want chrome on the engine. That just takes time to polish. So Oldsmobile gold with black trim, regular Chevy orange, traditional Chevy orange, a black trim, or a metallic pearl orange that I'd actually spray out of the spray gun rather than rattle can. Other than valve cover gaskets, intake gaskets, a water pump, and I'll look closer, but I probably will do an oil pan gasket on this also, just because it's easier to do it now than later. So basically a gasket set before it gets painted. So I don't know, that's that. I welcome any thoughts or ideas on that as we go along. The 400 transmission is a greasy MF'er, and my pressure washer kind of took a dump halfway through, so that's kind of on hold for now. But again, it's not on the list, so it's not a high priority. I am, however, always scouting and looking. So next thing is going to be to get the motor mounts installed, because it's easiest to bolt them in the frame disposition, because I can get into that front cross member. So I will do motor mounts next opportunity I get, and then I'm going to start with the control arm bushings and ball joints, get those assembled, and I'm going to have to do some repair work to that lower control arm, which whatever, it needs to be done. I can do all the front suspension stuff on here, but I have to do it, the actual assembly, after the frame is patched, because once I have the front suspension in here, I'm not flipping this thing over again. It's going to be too heavy. So maybe I have my list in the wrong order. I can do the assembly of the control arms, each component, but I can't actually assemble them on the frame right now until I have the frame right side up. And then I've got spindles to clean up and all the steering components and tie rod ends and sleeves to replace. So yeah, like I said, I really think I have a whole winter's worth of work, because I have not been getting out here on a regular basis like I like to be. I'm enjoying my kids right now, and I'm not going to apologize for that, but at the same time I'd like to get out here more. So right now my kids are too small. I can't have both. My oldest is not quite old enough to be out here with me. He just turned 5, and I think all I would be doing is trying to hunt my tools down and there's just too much stuff out here that he can get into and hurt himself with, and then I got to answer to mama, and then I don't want to deal with that. So All right. Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Please comment, like, you know, whatever. You guys know what to do. So I may or may not be out here again later tonight. Kind of depends. I'm planning on doing the Saturday night church thing with the family. So we'll see how that goes, and maybe I'll come back out here. If the frame is dry enough by then, I will probably install those motor mounts. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I do have plenty of other stuff to do out here. I can start cleaning parts up, getting another batch ready for primer, you know, spindles and such. I have all the disc brake stuff. I just need to, but I am going to assemble the spindles and all that stuff on the car before I try and put the brakes on, just so I have a steady platform to hang everything on. So because the brackets are bolt on. They bolt. My understanding, they bolt onto the spindle, the factory spindle. So, all right. Well, that's a video for another day. But I hope you guys like the videos. I could not be happier. I'm really happy with the way things turned out here, and excited to get to the next step. So I'd love to have a PBR with you here, but I'm not supposed to drink before church, so maybe later. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.